You've done the years of school, you've survived the internship, and now there's just one thing standing between you and your license to practice architecture in Canada. It's the examination for architects, the ExAC. It is a huge deal, and in this explainer, we are going to break it all down.
Look, if you're feeling the pressure, trust me, you are not alone. This exam is designed to test every single thing you've learned. And yeah, that can feel like a mountain of stress. It's the very last step in a really long journey, and it is completely normal to feel that weight.
But what if you could take all that anxiety and turn it into a focused, confident strategy? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do here. We've dug through all the official prep guides and boiled down the most critical info into one clear game plan to help you walk in there and succeed. Here's how we're going to do it. First, we'll talk about the final hurdle itself. Then, we'll dive into the blueprint to understand the exam structure. After that, we'll tackle the keystone, the National Building Code. And finally, we'll lay out the game plan for exam day. Let's dive right in.
Okay, first up, the blueprint. You know, you can't pass this thing if you don't know exactly what you're up against. So let's pull back the curtain and really break down the structure and the scope of the ExAC. The whole exam is split into 4 main sections, spread over 2 days. Section 1 is all about those early design phases. Section 2, that's your deep dive into the codes. Section 3 gets into engineering systems and design development, and Section 4 handles the business side of things, contracts, project management, you get it. The key thing to realize is that the exam is built to follow the exact life cycle of a project, which you've already seen in your internship.
So how are they actually going to test you? Well, it's not just your standard multiple choice, that's for sure. The exam uses a whole mix of formats to test your real-world problem-solving skills. You're going to see matching, ordering things, fill in the blanks, and short answers. Just knowing what to expect format-wise is a huge strategic advantage.
So what do you actually need to study? The official guide points to these 4 documents as your absolute core toolkit. You've got the CHOP, the IAP manual, and then the 2 big ones, the National Building Code and the National Energy Code. And these aren't just suggestions, okay? The exam questions are pulled directly from them. But there's one in this list that's more intimidating, and frankly, more important than all the others.
And that brings us right to our next section, the keystone. We're talking, of course, about the National Building Code. For so many people, the NBC is the biggest source of anxiety, but we're going to flip that thinking. Instead of some obstacle, let's see the code for what it is, a powerful tool that, once you get it, becomes your greatest strength on the exam.
So what is the NBC, really? At its heart, it's a model code. Its whole purpose is simple, to set the minimum standards for public safety. It's not the law itself, but it's the blueprint that provinces use to write their own building codes. The real takeaway here? The NBC is all about protecting people. That's its mission.
Okay, mastering the code starts with understanding its logic. It has 3 parts. Just remember this: why, how, and rules. Division A is the why. It's the big picture goals. Division B is the how. These are the specific technical solutions to meet those goals. And Division C is the rules, all the admin stuff like permits and inspections. Why, how, rules. That's your key to navigating the whole thing.
And this brings us to a super critical concept. There are 2 ways to comply with the code. The first path is using acceptable solutions. You just follow the exact rules laid out in Division B. Simple. The second path is proposing an alternative solution. That's where you prove your unique design still meets the intent of the code from back in Division A. Understanding this difference is not optional. I guarantee you it will be on the exam.
So, Division B is massive. Where should you focus your energy? Well, the data's pretty clear. Parts 3 and 9 are the absolute heavy hitters. Part 3 is all about fire and safety for bigger buildings. Part 9 covers housing. And as you can see from this chart, together they make up the lion's share of what you're going to be tested on. So that's where your study priority needs to be.
All right, let's shift gears and get to our final section, the game plan. We've talked about the what and the why. Now let's get into the how. These are the practical, nitty-gritty tips, straight from the official guide, that are going to make your exam day a whole lot smoother.
If you only remember one piece of strategy, please make it this: time management is everything. The official guide says it right there. Do not get bogged down. If a question feels too hard, flag it and move on. Bank all the easy points first, and then circle back to the tough ones. You don't want one tricky 5-point question to stop you from answering 10 easy 2-point questions.
Here are 5 more quick-fire tips. 1. Read the question carefully, especially any words in bold. 2. Show your work. You can get partial marks for your calculations. 3. Write clearly and stay inside the box. If it's outside the lines, it won't get marked. 4. Never ever leave a multiple-choice question blank. Just guess. And 5. Erase your mistakes cleanly. Don't cross them out. You'll need the space. These little things can add up to big points.
This one is non-negotiable. The guide is crystal clear. You have to be there 30 minutes before the official start time. That's for check-in and all the administrative stuff. You might be let in if you're late, but only in the first 30 minutes, and you won't get any extra time. Don't start your day with that kind of stress. Just get there early.
Now, let's talk about your exam day toolkit. Here's exactly what you need to bring. First, your official photo ID and that letter of authorization. No documents, no exam, period. Bring a basic calculator, HB pencils in a clear case, and a drink in a sealable container. And for Section 2 only, I'll say that again, only for Section 2, you can bring your annotated copies of the National Building Code and the National Energy Code. And just as important is what to leave at home. No dictionaries, no extra notes, no smartwatches, no phones. They have to be off and put away. No food unless it's been pre-approved, and no bringing your own scratch paper. They will give it to you. Seriously, don't risk getting flagged. Just follow these rules to the letter.
So let's bring it all home. The ExAC is more than just a test. It's really a measure of the professional competence you've spent years building. It is not some impossible wall. You have the experience, and now you have the blueprint to understand the exam and a game plan to take it on. The only question left is the one right there on the screen. Are you ready to build your future?